Okay. So the chapter, perfect timing, the chapter that we read this week is called The Law of Giving. And the timing couldn't be any better, right? Seeing as we're actually, for those who celebrate or observe the Easter holiday. Who wants to, well, I guess maybe I'll start with reading what people put on their forms. So those of us who are reading the book, every Saturday by 5, you have to summarize the chapter, and then you have to mention 2 takeaways that you got from the chapter. So maybe I can start with that, and I'll read each person's entry one at a time and maybe ask them to elaborate if they want. So I'll just go to the form. So chapter 2, I'll start with Mark. He summed up the chapter by saying, this chapter is about explaining the law of giving and receiving and how these forces operate in our field of existence in the universe. Every relationship is one of give and take. And if you stop the flow of either one, you interfere with nature's intelligence. The author Deepak Chopra also explains that the most important thing is to give, receive with good intention, as the return is directly proportional when it is unconditional from the heart. Did you want to expand or elaborate on that, Mark, or was that exactly what you wanted to communicate in your summary?
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Okay, so let's go to Oliver's entry then, and I'll ask Oliver the same thing if he wants to elaborate or not. So Oliver's summary is the law of giving is the law of receiving, because anything we want in life is a circulation of what we give. Care to expand or elaborate on that, Oliver?
Sure. And you guys are going to appreciate this. I know Mark is going to appreciate this very well. We're talking about rest. In last 2 weeks, I was part of a boot camp, and it's a 3-hour boot camp. In the first hour, they give us every day for 1 hour straight. There's a mindset segment. On the very first day, they talk about, they give an example, and probably I'm going to ask you guys here. Have you ever gone to a restaurant or, got to buy something with a friend and the person say, let me pay for that? And you say, no, I got it. No, I'll pay it. Does that ever happen to anyone here where you say you paid? So the lady said, if you're trying to stop somebody from paying something for you, that means you also stopping other people from giving you things. You're stopping things from coming to you. You're stopping strangers, because we're business people on the call. You're also stopping potential clients from coming to you. That's exactly what you're doing. So what that means in this chapter 2, giving, is that it's a circulation. Giving is a circulation. And, and the book talk about, Deepak said that when he was younger, he always tell his kids, when you go to people's house, you always bring something. I was taught that too, but it wasn't that deep until I started reading it and understanding and realize that it's a circulation of what we are getting. So, and it's not only a physical thing you give. You can give in any form, and it becomes a circulation. So, and I love where he says, whatever you have or whatever you're receiving, it's a reflection of what you've been giving. So that's why I sum it up in a sense that it's a circulation of what we give.
I totally agree with you, Oliver. Sorry, I just wanted to add to that. I mean, reading it and listening to Deepak on the audio brought a different meaning to, when you go somewhere to bring something to somebody's house or to bring a gift, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical gift, right? And that's what he was saying, right? It could be anything. And so I agree with what you're saying, and I took that away in a different light than I had previously. And I think the other piece, I can't remember what you just said there, but that one resonated with me as well. Oh, about when people are offering you something, you know, you should accept it. And that's one thing that I didn't understand either, right? And now I look at that as well in a different light. When people are giving you gifts, to accept, because that's a part of that circle, or that the give and take, right? So.
I'm going to read 2 more entries that came in, and then we'll continue from there. So Danielle, who's not here tonight, she put, there's her submission, because she is reading the book with us, even though she wasn't available. And she put on here to summarize, we are constantly in motion. The ebbs and flows of life that directs our paths. An open hand can give and receive, while a closed hand can do neither. It's okay to give, to share, and be vulnerable, as this allows everything to flow and balance in abundance. And finally, my submission was, to be successful, you must continuously give with good intentions to the universe in order to continuously receive what you need, want, desire. Everyone else joining in want to comment on just the summaries that all the readers put together? Is this something that you thought about? Do you agree with this? Do you have an example in your own personal life where this happened? Anybody?
What I have learned about giving and receiving is that when you give, you're giving a blessing. When you receive, you're receiving a blessing. And if you refuse to take something from someone, though they give it with good intention, you're blocking their blessing. It's a channel that has to go, it's a conduit that goes backward and forward. So, like what my pastor would say, somebody offer you something, but you do not have a need for it, you take it, you say thank you, because you are a channel to give it to somebody who needs it. So even though you may not have a need for it, you take it, you say thank you, which is the smallest prayer there is, thank you. And somebody's going to come along with a need for that particular thing. So now you are the channel for it to move along to the other person. And it occurred to me right after he told us about that, my friend was moving from a house to a condo, and she gave me a whole lot of gardening stuff. I didn't need half of it, but because I learned to take everything that is given to you, I accept it. I had my garage quite full. And surprisingly, within weeks, people were saying, oh, you know, I need to buy a wheelbarrow. I need to buy something. And it's like, wow, your RAS was at play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't it Ingrid B, I think, who mentioned something about you got some exercise equipment or something? I think you were looking, was it Ingrid B? Somebody on the call said they were looking for exercise equipment, and then somebody was giving away a whole bunch. Oh, was it Carol?
No, it wasn't me.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, you had put it out there, then all of a sudden, within days or weeks, it became available. Yeah.
Within days.
Yeah,
So that's one reason why somebody would refuse to take where they're thinking that they already have it, so they don't need it. Are there any other reasons why people refuse to receive?
Pride.
Pride.
Well, I can't say we, but I was brought up where I remember specifically everyone, in my household was saying, don't take nothing from nobody. And, if you're hungry, don't show it and all that stuff. And so it's a lot of pride. And, I remember when I was selling encyclopedia and my manager that was training, my trainer was training, and we went somewhere. I think we went to a house and we resonated with the people, and they were giving me stuff. I don't take stuff from people, right? When I was younger. And the lady offered me 3 times. And I refused it, right? And when we left the house, he was very, very upset at me. And he was saying that if somebody offers you something 3 times, that's a big disrespect to the person. He didn't explain it in this way we're talking about, but he was so serious that I took it serious. And he said, even if you don't want it, still take it.
Yeah. Some cultures, it's disrespectful. I know in African culture, if somebody, you visit their home and they offer you something and you said you don't want it, you're insulting them.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it's like that. The Indian culture too. If you visit a home, they offer you something, I think the Caribbean people don't like to eat out. But you go to somebody's home and they offer you a cup of tea or some food or something, even though you may not want it, you still take it. You make the gestures of eating.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah, it's so important. It's so
important. You're insulting them if you don't accept it.
Yeah.
So
I remember last year, was it last year? No, the year before. I think just before COVID. Was it before COVID? I don't remember. I think it was last year, the year before. The lady beside us on the right, from India. There's a gentleman there, this older gentleman, you can tell, he just came from India, and he knew that we were going to do our front lawn with interlock. And he kind of called all his friends to see if David, people do interlock and they kind of throw out their older ones to replace new ones. And he said, hey, come with me with your van. There's a whole bunch of bricks. I thought it was some old stuff. When I went there, I was shocked. These were like really top of the line bricks, very design, the color. And he said, take as much as you want. And I was like, okay, I did like 6 strips because these are heavy, right? And my van. So I put them to the side of the house and getting ready to do interlock. So when I did my, quote for the person who did the interlock, they said they can get me a bed, they can give me a good price. The price that I wanted was the price that they gave me with everything included. They said, don't worry about that brick, you don't need that. I'm like, but I want to use this here. This one here, you can't really park on for a long time and stuff like that. But anyways, the gentleman across the street, he came to me, he goes, can I buy these off you? And I said, you? No, you can have them. And he was really shocked. He goes, no. I said, no, you can have them. I'm not selling them. For you, I can't, because he's an Italian man and he's very helpful. He's very handy. He does construction, right? And he helped me out all the time. I said, no, I can't charge you. So if I didn't really, I'm just looking at that, I just remembered, if I didn't really take those bricks and he's Italian, he's construction, he knows how expensive those are, and he was shocked that I'm giving it to him. I wouldn't be able to have the ability to even offer him that help. And he came up to me the next day and said, you know how much money you saved me? I said, that's how it is. We're all family on this street, right? So that's blessings. And that's all we keep the circulation going, right?
So I just wanted to make one comment, and I'll do my weekly reading of just one paragraph, and it's a very short one. But the comment is around, and I know this, we all have done it. You know, you go somewhere and somebody's offering you something and you don't really want it, but you take it. The intention is important as well, right? So, and you know, we have to accept things with good intention, or we should. I shouldn't say have to, and that's part of what this chapter is explaining. So maybe I'll just read this really quickly. But to me, this was one of the highlights or the key parts to this chapter, which says the intention behind your giving and receiving, that is the most important thing. The intention should always be to create happiness for the giver and receiver, because happiness is life supporting and life sustaining, and therefore generates increase. The return is directly proportional to the giving when it is unconditional and from the heart. That is why the act of giving has to be joyful. The frame of mind has to be one in which you feel joy in the very act of giving. Then the energy behind the giving increases many times over. So we have to do things, and the suggestion here, and I agree with this, is, you know, and just to give and give with good intention, and when you receive, also receive with good intention, right? So don't say, oh, I don't want that, that's garbage or whatever, and just take it anyway. I think you really have to be sincere when we're doing these things. So that's my message.
And that's key too. And I want to make the message very clear that giving, and I think you said it earlier too, but giving necessarily doesn't have to be physical things. It could be compliments. Right? Go ahead, Cal.
One thing was pointed out to me that I never look at it the way it was pointed out, is that paying your bills, you should pay your bills joyfully because you're receiving a service. So when you pay your bills, don't grudge, don't fret that you have to do it. Do it with joy in your heart because it's a service you're receiving. But because it's not so tangible, we really don't see it, like hydro and water.
Until it's locked off.
So I had to learn that paying my bills, I paid with love.
That is so key, because sometimes not only bills too, but sometimes, you know, and I used to be very guilty of this too. Like you try to hold on, you try to hold on to money, you try to hold on. You can spend it, but you're holding on. Especially, you know, you'll go somewhere, you know, you can spend $10 for the kids to buy this, but you try to hold on tight. Not you're stopping money from coming to you the more you hold on.
Mm-hmm. Blocking your blessings.
Yes, you're blocking it.
It's funny you guys say that. I'm not on the screen, but you guys discussed this last week about blocking your blessings and not saying that you're broke, right? Because truly and honestly, you're not broke, right? Start my video, okay. Truly and honestly, you're not really broke. You have a job, you are fulfilled. And last week, although I was running low on cash, I did help somebody out. And God has made it that, you know, although I was trying to hold on to my money, as you said, Oliver, you're holding on to your money. I said, no, let me help this person. And so I did. Although I myself could have used that money, I still went ahead and said, you know what? Here's a $5, you know, or here's $1 or $2. I'll give it to you. You go ahead. I know it might be the last thing I have in my pocket, but I'll make it do. And so said, so done. I made it work.
Speaking of money, again, this is an excerpt from the book. Money is really a symbol of the life energy we exchange and the life energy we use as a result of the service we provide to the universe. Another word for money is currency, which also reflects the flowing nature of energy. The word currency comes from the Latin word currere, which means to run or to flow. Therefore, if we stop the circulation of money, if our only intention is to hold on to our money and hoard it, since it is life energy, we will stop its circulation back into our lives as well. In order to keep that energy coming to us, we have to keep the energy circulating. Like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise, it begins to stagnate, to clog, to suffocate, and strangle its very own life force. Circulation keeps it alive and vital. Any comments on the money analogy?
Money comes to me easily and effortlessly.
Note to
Yeah.
self. Note to self.
Yeah.
Carol is my new best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And that's the affirmation that we were taught.
Yes.
And the more you say it, amazingly, it just comes. And the thing about it, you don't ask how, it just comes. You just receive thankfully.
But
And
where
why
were
do
you
people
taught that?
stress?
Carol, where were you taught that before we answered?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
I'm a Unity student.
I mean, unity
I'm
student. What does that mean?
metaphysical. I'm a metaphysical student.
Okay,
Which
got
means
it.
I'm taught spiritually and not literally about the Bible.
So you're saying those people who stress over money and they're chasing the almighty dollar and they will step over people to get it, they have it all wrong. That's what you're saying.
No,
No?
their consciousness is lack. Their consciousness is just thinking lack. So when you think lack, you receive lack
Wow. Yeah. Instead of abundance.
of abundance.
So the thing is, Camille, if you're chasing money, right? That's why you're chasing money. It's running away from you. That's why you're chasing money.
Watch your words.
That's why you're chasing money. Because if you chase money, you're gonna consistently chasing money.
It's interesting, and we're sharing this with the kids. So I read this chapter to the kids yesterday, I think, and just trying to, float these things into their minds and their brains and trying to explain it to them. And they ask very interesting questions, but they're trying to. They're absorbing it and actually trying to practice it as well for things that they want, right? So it's very interesting to see, and it makes me smile, right? Just to
that is powerful for them to even, even if they don't really get it,
right.
that is so powerful.
Yeah.
But think about movies and TV, like media. They don't teach you that, right? The storyline is usually somebody is broke and they're bending over backwards chasing the dollar, or they have to step over somebody to get the dollar. Like that is what society kind of promotes on TV.
Well, the way I see things, everything has a message. And when you're looking, you find. So a lot of them have the message, even though it might be subliminal, there's a message about whatever you're looking for, you'll find, because there's a lot of shows, right? Shows you that the same teaching, because Deepak, he's from the same metaphysical student area. So, and there's a lot of shows I can label, so many that you look at them and you can get the message.
Yeah, it goes back to this, and I love what you said. What you're looking for, you'll see it, you'll find it. Depends on where your mind's at. Depends on, where you at, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, that's why I opened up the conversation with that. I was just in a boot camp and they were just talking about The whole 1 hour is just about that. How to attract money, right? Because money is, all money is energy. And exactly what Camille read there, the last part where it's exchange of the service to provide. That's it. The energy that you give out, that's it, right? But and this was a business training, so the business people on the call, you know, they're all about you know, the grinding and chasing and do this for money. It's all start with you, within yourself.
I think Oprah opened a can of worms when she introduced The Secret, because that's what The Secret was all about.
Correct, 100%.
So,
Yeah.
and everybody wanted to know. And the way they termed it, The Secret, everybody fast. Everybody want to know,
Yeah, everyone want to know the secret.
everybody want to know the secret. And that's the reason why so many books were sold.
Speaking of that, I'm not sure if this is Rash working. Well, I'm pretty sure it's Rash working. But I saw a post that Oprah is working with Deepak and about some meditation. I click on it and I save it. Right, I was like probably 10 o'clock last night. I was like, what is, like, what's happening here? Like,
Yeah, they're doing a 21-day challenge.
yeah.
meditation
Oh, you
challenge.
saw that?
Yeah,
I've done it.
I think Chelsea's doing it too.
Oh,
I did that early last year.
I really don't remember which post I saw it or how I saw it. When I click on it, I saw something that triggered me. I click on it, I click. I'm like, what's going on?
Oprah, I call her King Midas. Anything she touches turn to gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ilana Van Zandt was on Oprah. She's also a metaphysical student. Tolly, Wayne Dyer, Catherine Ponder, Lewis. I always say Lewis, is Louise Hay. These are all metaphysical students. They have the same identical message. Abraham Hicks, they all have the same message, identical word for word. Charles Fillmore, Myrtle Fillmore, these are all metaphysical students who have the same message. Oprah got in with them and she just blew up because she changed her mindset.
Yeah.
So not to put anybody on the spot, but the floor is open for those who haven't shared. If you feel comfortable, you want to add your comments or your feedback for those who haven't. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read the second part of the submission form where I had asked everyone to input two takeaways that they got from that chapter. So I'll just read those now. I'll start with Oliver. If he wants, I'll read your submission and then if you want to elaborate. Okay, Oliver said, the two lessons is money is energy. And if you hold on to money, you're stopping money from coming to you, which we talked about in depth. But if you wanted to add to it, Oliver, or you're good with
Just
that?
straightforward. Money is straight energy. It's whatever it's whatever you give it, it is. Right? So yeah, I think I elaborated on it earlier.
Okay. Mark's two takeaways. Number one was circulate joy to everyone that he meets by giving them a sincere compliment or prayer. And number two, give and receive from the heart. Did you want to add to that, Mark?
Well, I think I spoke earlier about the give and receive from the heart, but I feel like these are simple things that you can do in your life, or I can do in my life, to that doesn't cost me anything. It can only make me better. So I think he has one of the lessons or the takeaways here is for every person you meet to give them a blessing, right? Um, and and wherever you go or whoever you encounter, bring them a gift, right? Um, and I find that to me is super powerful, and I'm trying it, right? Like I went out yesterday, went to the gas station, and even though I just interacted with the gas station clerk for 2 seconds, it's just there. I tried it, right? I want to give that person a blessing. I do not know this person, but hey, why not have well wishes for everybody you meet? I think it's a strong thing to do. And I can't remember where this was. I have two examples of this, but one was, somebody runs you off the road or they kind of cut you off or something. Instead of cursing them, bless them, right? Like, and I've seen people do that before, but that's the mentality that we should start to have, is to try to turn things into a positive. It doesn't always have to be, we don't always have to be negative toward things that happen, right? And who knows? I mean, it can only, I can't see this making my life any worse, so why not try, right? The second one is, I don't know if Camille remembers, but we were on a cruise. This is just an example of a situation, but we were on a cruise. We have 5 kids, right? And we have all the little ones are on the cruise with us. We went to the formal dinner. So I'm dressed in a full suit, Camille's dolled up, kids are dressed up, and we're sitting there having dinner. And and every time the workers on the ship or the servers walk by us, they would see, I don't know who it was, Cam, if it was one of the kids, and they just kept saying, "Oh, they're so cute," and they always wanted to play with them, right? And as one of them was passing, another one had like a full waiter of wine and drinks. She dumped the whole thing on my head, on my suit, everything. I was totally soaked with. She had ended up like turning the whole thing over on me by accident. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She felt so bad. All the people around came and started cleaning up. And I was like, "It's okay. No, don't worry about it. It's okay." Right? Like, I wasn't angry about it. And it was funny because it was a big scene in the restaurant, right? And the next day, there was an American gentleman who came to me and he's like, "Man, I can't believe they did that to you," right? And he's like, "If that was me, I would have been saying this and that and buffoons and this and that, and he would have made a big stink." He's like, "I can't believe you stayed so calm." And he's like, "You taught me something," right? He's like, because I would have reacted totally different to that, and I don't know how you didn't, but that was the message that I got from him. It was basically, he's like, "Hey man, that was pretty big of you," right? But to me, it was nothing really. I was just like, it happens, right? I mean, it doesn't mean just your clothes, and
No,
I didn't get
it's a big thing.
yeah,
It is a big thing. That's
yeah,
a big thing because your kids are there too.
yeah,
So it's even
true,
bigger impact.
true,
That's huge when it comes to, having that mindset and that composure,
yeah,
especially when you have kids around you. So yeah, it is a big thing. It may seem very small to you, but it is big because you've changed one person's life.
yeah, yeah,
Look at this example. Not judging, but look at all the chaos that is happening in the States. That's their consciousness. That is their consciousness creating all the chaos. The Americans are quick to sue. You look at them too hard, they're quick to sue. They don't have a pleasant word for anyone, right? They put their head and they have tunnel vision. That's their consciousness. When you're traveling, you always notice an American because a lot of people tend to avoid them. You stand out as a Canadian. People are always willing to help you. Oh, you're from Canada? Okay, good. And they go a little extra and beyond. People, oh, you're American? And especially if you're going to the European countries and they find out you're American.
Yeah.
So it's their consciousness. That's where they're thinking, the way they think, the way they project their consciousness, whatever they're putting out there, that's what they're receiving. Imagine how many shootings in 1 week. These are just examples.
Yeah, it's funny too, because I work with a lot of Americans, and I just was talking to one guy and he knows exactly what you just mentioned. He was traveling in Europe, and what does he do? He puts a Canadian tag on his back. Because they know, right? They know how they're perceived, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you one incident that changed my life and the way I view things years ago. I don't know how long, but it's a while back, before my kids were born, before my two youngest kids were born, and they're 12 and 9 right now. I was going through a drive-through. I believe it was McDonald's or Tim Hortons. And when I went to pay, the lady said, somebody already paid for you. And I'm like, wow. I said to myself, I remember saying this, there's nice people in the world. Wow. So guess what? I always do this. I drive through, and I remember my kid said to me, Daddy, what are you doing? You can't do that. And obviously I took that time as a teachable moment and explained to them. And now it's like a norm for them, right? I remember last 2-3 years going to school with them. I used to drop them off, and sometimes I'll walk, but even if we walk or we drive, we pass at least 4 cross guards. And I remember one day we went early and we asked every single cross guard, what coffee or tea or beverage would you like? And we took it down, and I remember this one Caribbean guy, he liked his ginger ale. Everyone wanted coffee with 1 cream,
Something
whatever.
hot, something hot. Yeah.
Pardon?
Something hot. Everybody wanted a hot beverage.
Everyone wanted, because we only give it in the wintertime, right? And this gentleman, he always want this ginger ale. And once a month, we put the money aside once a month, at least once a month, sometimes twice. If we see it's a cold day, we're gonna go to Tim Hortons and just fill up our takeout and just give it to them. And I made sure the kids came out and give it to them. And I'm gonna tell you something, and I just remind me of what your example, Mark. I remember Jalea specifically, she was very emotional. And I even took the neighbor's daughter too, the neighbor's kids. And I said, you guys gonna do the same thing we're doing. And one of them, there's 3 of them, there's 3 girls. And one of them were really emotional, like, oh my gosh, it's such amazing. And I asked them, I said, what do you guys feel? Right? And so emotional. So, just that one incident happened to me years ago. I thought to myself, I'm gonna do that. It's called paying forward. I'm gonna do the same thing. And so what example you did, Mark, was it's huge. It's big for that one guy that came to you, plus your kids as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read the comment in the Zoom chat from Lisa. I think she was adding to what Mark was saying with regards to like paying a compliment or paying a blessing to someone. She's saying it's as simple as even sharing a smile with a stranger, which is something that she practices on a regular. A smile goes a long way. It could change a whole person's day.
Yeah, she's a prime example of that. When she goes through drive-through, she's always like a bulb going through the drive-through. Hi, how are you? Thank you very much. Have a good day. Right? And you can tell their reaction, because people just come and they're probably most people just miserable, whatever. They just grab and go. And you can tell the person, makes their day.
One thing that I do pay attention to, and this, when I heard it, I just loved it, and I've been doing it. The homeless. Sometimes they're always asking for small change, and I'm a debit queen. So what I do, I walk around with Tim Hortons gift cards. I always go and buy a stack of them. I don't drink a coffee, so I go and buy a stack of gift Hortons, and I give them one. So instead of giving them money, oh, you don't give them money, they're gonna buy drugs. I give them a gift card. So when I don't have, some days I would leave home without no purse, no anything, just my car keys or anything. I said, bless you. I see you. I bless you.
Yeah.
And just using those words, I see you. It's a blessing within itself, because a lot of people tend to pass by, oh, you druggie, oh, you this. You don't know the circumstances that have them on the street. So instead of judging, you just bless them and move on.
So Carol, there's one guy at, I'm not sure if he's there. He used to be at Bay and Bloor. And, you know, he would be asking for, he asked me if I have credit card or debit card. He said he takes credit card and debit card too. I said, I have no change. He goes, I take debit card and credit card too. I'm like, yeah.
It's a big business.
It is. So you just remind me when you said, you always have your debit. But yeah, it's real, man. But
I don't know if you guys remember, because you guys have been here all a long time. There was a woman who used to be at Bloor, Young and Bloor, I think. When she died, it was quite a big story, because she was one of the richest women in Canada.
Yes, I heard the story.
Panhandling just about.
Yeah.
It's a big business.
You're muted.
Thank you, Oliver. I was saying that we're going to get ready to wrap up the book discussion and then continue on with whatever we want to talk about after. But just one other thing that Deepak Chopra was talking about in the book is that when you're giving someone a blessing, you don't actually have to verbally say it to the other person, right? Is that right, Mark and Oliver? You don't have to actually say it out loud to the person.
No.
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
right.
Are all thinking collectively.
Yes.
Right? So even if you just whisper it or you say it within your heart and you mean it, they feel the vibration.
Right.
Yeah, because we're all spiritual beings, right?
Yeah.
So automatically they're gonna feel the vibration.
The energy. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to read the final two submissions. One was from Danielle, her 2 takeaways. Number 1 is she says, the attitude in which you give matters. Consciousness is the implication of energy and information, which is alive as thought. Thought has the power to transform. Those were her 2 takeaways. And my 2 were, you will be rewarded with what you want when you give to others. Giving without receiving or receiving without giving is unfulfilling, short-lived, and does not lead to success.
Well said. Well said.
Any final thoughts on giving and receiving from anybody?
I just want to share one short clip with you guys.
Okay, hold on. I got to stop the recording because then we'll get